Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your week ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Saggy, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So before we get into it, I just want to say a massive thank you so much for all of your well wishes, all of your patience and understanding. It really does mean a lot that you guys support me in the way that you do, and you know I love you for it. So your key to the week this week is the Strength card. In your heart of hearts, my dear Sagittarius, there is something new that you are striving for. This is about a new goal or a new energy, and that's what it feels like to me. So yes, all the traditional meanings of strength will apply, but the feeling that I get from the Strength card this week is that there's something new that is developing in you, and it's like in your heart of hearts or in the depths of your being, you're really very focused on something that you it's like something new is being evolved in front of you, and it's like, wow, I didn't realize that I'd wanted this so much. I didn't realize that this was where it was all heading. I kind of feel like this is a week where you're going to really start to understand where everything that you've been through up until this point has actually been leading you. If you've been with me long enough, you will have heard me say many times over, when you look back through your life, there's a thread, right? There's a thread of all the experiences that you've had, all the hurts, all the heartaches, all the blessings, all the gifts and the skills that you have. It all feeds into what you're eventually supposed to be doing. This is one of the reasons that I say to people, and I'm a big believer in this, there's no such thing as your only purpose, right? It's a load of bollocks as far as I'm concerned. And it's actually a really toxic thing to say to people, like, oh, well, you know, you just need to discover your purpose. Well, if you haven't discovered it by the time you're 30, I guess you're on the scrap heap of life. Fuck that. I'm sorry to say, excuse my language, but it's just a complete load of bollocks. It really is. You're going to have multiple purposes over the course of a lifetime, and each and every moment, each and every experience feeds into what your eventual larger purpose is going to be. All right, so if anyone's out there thinking like, oh, I haven't found my purpose, what am I going to do? Yeah, scrap that. All right, we're not in that. With that said, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you, and if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button for your actions and options. You got the Seven of Swords, right? So you've got this here with the Strength card. This is actually quite a good card to have in conjunction with the Strength card this week. Why? Because it means that you have the courage this week to call yourself out on your own bullshit. This it's a bit of a potty mouth one today, isn't it? Obviously. The reason I say this is, I don't know if any of you ever saw the original Daredevil film with Ben Affleck. I personally loved it. Lots of people hated it. There's a line in that film where the sort of sidekick kind of guy says to Ben Affleck's character, you know, what happens to your, you know, amazing inbuilt bullshit detector when it senses your own? This actually feels like this. It's like this week you're going to spot something and you're going to call yourself out on it. Am I getting involved in something that actually really has nothing to do with me? Am I working on somebody else's timeline? Am I working on somebody else's behalf? Am I allowing myself to be used as an instrument? I actually like this because that Seven of Swords is actually you getting very real with yourself this week, regardless of whatever anybody else might think or see. And when this happens, we tend to level up. Why? Because that layer of crap that's holding us back from the next level is being lifted, right? So there's definitely an elevation here, and there's definitely a much more powerful defining goal that is becoming clear to you. But in order to get there, you're gonna have to Seven of Swords this bitch, okay? For your He's clearly on one today. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. I woke up like this. I woke up like this. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Two of Cups. This is great. New partnerships, new connections, and again, in line with the work that you're doing at the moment. So whatever you're shifting, whatever baggage, issues, challenges that you're releasing, that up-leveling is bringing new connections. With the Strength card here as well, it's funny as well, because you see the Strength card is ruled by Leo. And then on the Two of Cups in this deck, you can literally see the heart. That speaks to me that this week there is going to be solid communication with people that you can count on. Solid communications this week that maybe some conversations that really help you redefine what these next levels are, how this next goal of yours is going to start to come to fruition. This is really saying that through your network or through the solid connections, look to the people that have actually been there for you. Look to the people that have actually supported you in some way and ask yourself, am I feeding into this in a positive way, or am I just am I present just to be present? All right, there's something about this week that feels, and it's not about like paying your dues or anything like that. It's about acknowledging who your solid connections are and have been, and who they actually aren't. So for those of you that are studying anything, buddy up. This is a week to partner up. It looks like you may find somebody to do so. For some of you, this may end up sort of, being a little bit of a love interest as well. It's possible. For those of you that are studying, go for it. I never encourage work-based get-togethers and trysts, because it gets messy. 9 times out of 10 it gets messy. For your those of you that are employed by somebody else, this is really nice, because it suggests that a new partnership is being formed that's in line with what your next goals are for your career. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, this is about you looking for or seeking new connections that are going to help you move ahead with the goals that you are currently starting to define for yourself. What it also suggests as well is there's going to be an influx of partnerships and or offers and invites. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, I mean, because you've got that Seven of Swords in your actions and options, I almost feel like this is a time where, for those of you that are retired and no longer working for any reason, it's like you're getting a really strong sense of what your social interactions are now starting to bring you. You know what I mean? So this could be a time where you're actually getting a lot more selective about what and who you spend your time with. For your love and relations, you've got the Ten of Swords. Okay, so for some of you, not all of, you'll know if I'm talking to you, if your relationship has been on a rocky path for a while, this could spell, maybe a bit of a death deal, a bit of a death blow to that relationship. At the very least, it's likely to be a bust up. And that Seven of Swords here, the feeling that I get from it, especially because you've got the Two of Cups, it's like you've tried to keep the peace. And then something this week, it's going to be like the straw that broke the camel's back. And then it kind of feels to me like you're just going to explode. And whatever comes out is going to be literally everything that you've been not saying. And if it all comes out at once, that can be, Saggies can be feisty asses at the best of times, let alone, when they've been holding it in. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. For those of you that are single, again, for those of you that are students and studying, I kind of feel like there might be a tryst or two. For those of you that are single and not in studies, I would say this is probably not a week to be focused on love. It could be a really powerful week for you to have a big realization, maybe through a conversation with an ex-partner, with a friend. Maybe someone gives you a really keen observation this week about how you are in relationships that makes you go like, ooh, you know what, right in the gooey bag. And you might feel it. And there are those moments for all of us, right? When you have a realization about how you actually are about something and you're kind of like, ooh, okay, that was a little uncomfortable, but you know what, I'll take it because it's true. For your money and materials, well, you'll be glad to know your money's good. Your finances and your materials are in good stead. You've got the Six of Wands. This is actually the satisfactory conclusion of a project, or it's a realization of some kind of product or service. Something that you've put out into the world is now going to start to reap rewards or reap its dividends, especially where this has got like a partnership element to it. There is money in those directions, so follow it. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, just because you've got the Seven of Swords there and the Strength card and the Ten of Swords is here as well, your back, your physical actual back, and it's really weird. I don't know if this is because of what's happening in the sky at the minute, but I know a lot of signs have come up with like problems with the back or issues with the back. That's one of the reasons that I was out last week. Man, like, whew, when you're younger, like when people say back pain, you're like, oh, got bad back, okay. And then when you get older and you experience it, you're like, oh my gosh, is it the heart? Is it the lungs? What's going on? Yeah, right. So watch out for your physical back this week. Really look after yourself. Maybe this is a good time to start training core. I'm not a doctor, can't give you, or a medical professional of any kind, can't give you health advice, but strengthen your core. It really takes a lot of pressure off your back. When it comes to your home and environment, I love the Six of Wands for home and environment because it brings a very leonine energy to the home. So this could be like really just celebrating the everyday in the home. So you might find that this week, even you, Saggy, you wild, worldly creature, you might just feel like, actually, I want to be a bit more of a homebody this week. Your full moon message is the Gate 55 and abundance. I love it. I love it. I love it. So yeah, this full moon that takes place in the sign of Libra, I actually think this is going to be finances, resources and abundance that can find you through your connections, through your larger sort of interactions with the world in some way, shape or form. That Two of Cups is very, very strong in this reading. And I like it, so I think this could be a good week for you. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.